Hello everyone and welcome back, it's Zakiziel here, and today I'll be reacting to 5-ish Minute Lore episode 23 and Introduction to the Drukari by Old Man Reacts. As always, I highly recommend that you check out his content, and it's great, it's both informative and highly entertaining, and there'll be a link to the original video in the description box below. Also curious what he has to say about the Drukari, considering that they're some of the biggest jackasses in the universe of 40k. Partly because they have to for survival, because they literally feed off pain and suffering, but also kind of because their own choice, because they could have taken the route the Craftworld Eldar did. Granted, the Craftworld Eldar were basically space gypsies, so wasn't very appealing to most, I assume. Either way, without further ado, let us get into the video.
General Medicaid warning. The views expressed in 5-ish Minute Lore, the lore delivered in rants, are sanctioned by their scholar Progenium as excess rageous. Prolonged exposure can result in loss of IQ, high blood pressure, random outbursts, and blunt force trauma to the skull, resulting in unconsciousness. Please consult your local physician for more information.
The Dark Eldar, aka the Drukari, the most evil people in the entire galaxy.
Yep. Remember, there was once a planet that was being raided, and there was just complete panic and terror because they thought they were being raided by the Drukari, and then they saw it was the Night Lords, and the difference between the Night Lords and the Drukari was, oh, thank the Emperor, it's just the Night Lords. Or rather, I heard a story like that, but it could either be something someone wrote up or an abridged version of an actual event that happened. But either way, I find that it sums up pretty well that sort of thing.
What? You think I'm joking? No, I'm not joking. I'm being entirely serious. I'm a soulless automaton, an abomination, and I feel no shame in calling them the most evil people in the galaxy. And yes, that's saying something.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Today I'm talking about a civilization that is the definition of unadulterated evil. Doesn't matter the franchise, doesn't matter the war crimes, doesn't matter how sick and twisted your pick for the worst people in a setting are, they are Disney princess levels compared to the Dark Eldar, or as they are also known, the Drukari. No, don't start talking in the comments about, oh, but you see, the blah are the... No! The Drukari are so beyond fucked in the societal level that we don't even possess the vocabulary to describe it. Your average Drukari has a record containing more depraved sex acts, murder sprees, and war crimes than most countries. In fact, if I were to go into detail about Drukari lifestyle, my channel will get hammered harder than a $2 prostitute on payday with a discount. Drukari might seem like they don't have a single law to follow, but there are laws. 3, in fact. 1, solve every problem in the most dickish, what the fucking hell way possible. 2, there is nothing sacred, and if there is, I'm going to fuck it. And number 3, don't do shit that'll get you killed needlessly. Rule number 1 and 2 have been laid down for far longer than the Drukari society itself has even existed, and go way back to when the Drukari were the Eldar. You see, pre-Imperium Eldar society is best described as a species that founded TikTok and got rampagingly hooked on the dopamine hits from doing more and more outrageous shit, and they just kept plus-oneing each other right up to what is called the Fall. I'm gonna cover their history in another Voxcast, but here's the Cliff Notes version. Eldar society was fucking everything, and apparently got the Immaterium pregnant. When the Imperium gave birth to the bouncing baby, what the fuck, it was taken to the top of Pride Rock, given the name Slaanesh, and Slaanesh promptly wiped out 90% of the entire Eldar species. The remaining population that became known as the Drukari were the worst of the Eldar.
Yeah, As quite a few people put it, they murder-fucked a deity into existence. And yeah, the Eldar just kinda got bored with, ruling the galaxy essentially and being a post-scarcity society since it's like consider the fact that if they needed to make something, they can literally just conjure up Wraithbone, which is made of crystallized warp energy. They can just make things with their minds with no resource considerations. If they needed to make something of a particular quality or needed inspiration, they'd literally make a god to help them with it. They had contained Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle into little sections of the warp so that they weren't a threat anymore. And they just got bored. Started doing increasingly more extreme things just to keep themselves entertained. Because Eldar live for like 1,000 years normally each, was it? Like that's just their normal lifespan.
Who had literally made fortresses in the tunnel system through the warp called the Webway. The Drukari immediately found something distressing, and that was that they couldn't die and reincarnate anymore. The addition of rule number 3 followed, and they desperately tried to find a solution to another problem they had. Fathering a Chaos God has a couple of unintended side effects. In particular, their souls were being sucked out. After masturbating furiously for an undetermined amount of time to this knowledge, the Drukari discovered a solution to this problem. A small band of the Drukari called the Homunculi, who even the bulk of the Drukari consider sick fucks, showed everyone that by having others experience intense emotions, the Drukari could essentially refill their souls before Slaanesh could suck them dry. After another period of furious masturbation, the Drukari decided on the best course of action, and if you don't know what they did, just remember rule number 1 and you'll get it. They went out into the wider universe and began enslaving entire population segments en masse, dragging them back to their new capital called Kamarog and getting them to experience intense emotions. What kind of emotions, you ask? Puppies? Kittens? Hugs? No! Pain, humiliation, and extensive amounts of emotional trauma combined with horror, for as long as they can actually get their slaves to feel. Now, remember something. Drukari society spent not just millennia, but millions of years finding new and creative ways of feeling anything at all, much less intense emotions. They had done so many TikTok challenges, they had almost fully burnt out their dopamine receptors. Now you have these creatures who have been handed defenseless slaves and have no limitations. Yeah, no, you don't want to get captured by these things. They had a second problem. Millions of years spent going at it like rabbits had a profound effect on the reproductive ability. In short, natural-born children are difficult to make for the Drukari. This might also have something to do with the fact if you put 2 of them in a room, they're most likely going to try to kill each other, then fuck each other, and not necessarily in that order. The only thing in
Also, if I remember correctly, some of the things with Eldar reproduction is, well, part of it is also because in Drukari society, there's the issued reproduction that, well, it's Drukari society, and being pregnant for an extended period of time is not going to be good for a female Drukari, who could be killed or any number of things while she's carrying that child. So only really the nobility of Kamarok really have natural-born children, instead of growing them in vats. And if I remember correctly as well, the Eldar reproductive cycle right now, it's very particular. The mother has to maintain like a certain, emotional state or something throughout the entire pregnancy for the child to develop properly or something.
Shorter supply in Drukari society than good intentions is trust. Drukari pregnancies take years, and instead of having any sort of discipline whatsoever, the Drukari found another solution. They yank the fertilized ovum out and throw it in a vat and walk away. This is how 95% of Drukari are born and are simply dumped out into the streets to fend for themselves after being old enough to crawl. Drukari society lives entirely by the sword, and if someone has power, they simply do whatever the fuck they want to without a single fuck to give. Slaves, pain, and selfishness are the base of the entire civilization, and yet somehow the entire thing hasn't come crashing down, which is a testament to their pure ruthlessness. In fact, the only thing they have access to that they absolutely deny is their psychic ability. The Drukari are terrified of Slanesh and have cut themselves off from their ability to use the warp so they won't risk drawing the Chaos God's attention. So they focus entirely on the physical. The Drukari are in a constant state of Beachbody ready, and that makes it all the more disturbing because you get a bunch of closet masochists that want a Dark Eldar waifu, not realizing that they actually got one. She turned their foreskin into a lampshade.
Yep. Also, thing I've mentioned before about the Dark Eldar, because of that physicality that they focus on so much, they're even faster than normal Eldar. So yeah, just remember, throw a grenade at a Drukari and there's a good chance it'll just punt it back into your face while it's still mid-air.
Drukari society is driven by pain, doing everything it can to keep itself alive in the most depraved way possible. But while most of the species in 40k have a sense of tragedy about them, don't get it twisted. The Drukari did this to themselves, and everyone else for that matter. In their selfishness, they have destroyed everything, and when every warning was there that shit was going to come crashing down, they didn't even try to stop. They...
Oh yeah. Not only did they, murder fuck Slanesh into existence, which also caused the Age of Strife to happen for humanity, and all the disruptions that those warp storms caused to every other race, but yeah, they were warned by the craft world Eldari about it too for years.
Only intensified. They are the worst type of addicts, causing pain, suffering, and hardship everywhere they go, and destroying the lives of anyone who become entangled with them. Going to their home is like walking into a sewage dump with evidence of their failure and arrogance littered all around like a hoarder, and the reek of body odor decay slaps the senses so hard it makes you recoil. They know it, they sense it, but they keep going. The Drukari are an entire civilization of disappointments who would go out of their way to shit on everyone and everything around them on purpose, because they would rather be hated for what they do than what they actually are, because a single look in the mirror at the reflection of what they become would destroy them, because they are completely worthless. Behind all their spikes, leather, weapons, and tech, behind all the attention whoring and ego stroking, behind all the bluster, the Drukari are cringe.
Well, yeah, also, they are edgy as heck. But there's also something about them, aesthetically speaking, that I liked. It kind of reminds you of the aesthetic of the Cybrans from the Supreme Commander series, all the little jagged bits, as well as the like ridges on the armor and stuff like that. I just like how that looks. Like a good example actually would be a Dark Eldar warrior squad. But yeah, that was a fun watch, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching with me. And if you did, I'd appreciate if you like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you haven't already, I once again recommend that you subscribe to Old Man React's channel. But have a nice night.